excited that we get to talk maybe a little bit about Jim Harbaugh and him opening his mouth this week, and maybe some weird NCAA violations that Ohio State ended up having to self-report.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh, that guy. Now that a certain coach has retired and can no longer give him a butt kicking each and every November, had something to say, because if you can't beat him, then you got to criticize him, I guess, Kevin.
Yeah, exactly. I found the timing of it to be really odd. I don't know. I don't want to go down the same path and just, since I don't have anything else to say, just get really critical. But, it was odd. I guess I'm probably more taken aback, though, about the whole situation that came out with the James Hudson waiver, no waiver situation. And when Jim Harbaugh came out with a perfectly rational transfer suggestion and then just decided to keep going a little bit further and further, and really probably made some very insensitive comments about the stigma of mental illness in society today. I just think that it was a very bad week for one Jim Harbaugh.
Well, I was just going to say about the Jim Harbaugh thing, when at Big Ten Media Days talking about Urban Meyer. And I thought it was interesting. I liked his response to that, where, everybody, the national media in that room, who all have written about Urban Meyer at the end of his Florida days, wrote about him last year. And then they're like, Jim Harbaugh, how can you say everywhere he goes, he leaves controversy? And Jim Harbaugh was like, you guys write about it all year, last year, back in 2011, how are you going to now pretend like this wasn't a thing? And so I kind of enjoyed him putting it back out there. Like, why are you going to act like you're upset when you guys, I'm not saying anything you didn't say before. It's just interesting when a coach does it, especially at Big Ten Media Days, where you don't expect interesting stuff per se. Or,
right. Here's the thing, Tony, though. He could have done what Urban Meyer did in response and just say, I don't have anything to say about Urban Meyer. Urban's not coaching Ohio State right now. I'm worried about Ohio State in November, and I'm worried about Ohio State during the season. I'm going to focus on Ryan Day's game plan. He could have left Urban Meyer out of his mouth, but he couldn't. He can't.
No, he can't.
So you can't say it's clickbait. I mean, I'm sure national media is, all over that, and they wanted a bite, they wanted a hot take, but he had a choice to make, and it was to keep it pushing without saying anything to anybody, and he chose to confirm and double down on it.
Do we think he said it, like planned to say it, went in saying it, or did it just come out? Because sometimes when you talk with him or watch him speak, it doesn't always seem like it's set up this way. He'll just continue to talk and something will come of it. I don't know that. I don't know. Do you guys think he went in like, this year, I want to get this dig in on Urban Meyer, or it just came out?
No, I don't think he had an agenda or anything like that going in. He just, there's a reason why he doesn't do a lot of interviews, I think. And it's going to, I feel bad for the beat writers on that beat, because they're going to get less than zero at this point.
Yeah. I think it's pretty obvious to Kevin's point that watching Jim Harbaugh through the years, certainly he's an intelligent human being, or he wouldn't have gotten to where he is. I know Claire's given me a certain look.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just,
Sometimes we correlate intelligence with ability to speak a little bit too closely. There are very intelligent people out there that don't sound the most intelligent as it comes out of their mouth. Tony, really? You're smarter than we all think? Really?
Well, combined with the not speaking well.
Okay. And so I think that Jim Harbaugh, as I've seen him through the years, I think most of what he says is pretty calculated. He knows who he's speaking to. He knows what message he's sending to maybe not the person in front of him, but the players, the media, the whatever, the boosters, the fans. So he knows what he's doing. But I know that he's certainly capable of letting one slip once in a while, and I think that this was partially one of those times.
Just like about not eating chicken because it's a nervous bird, or his milk comments, or he's due for one of those. But those are one things. Going out and talking about a coach that just pretty much whipped you from day one to the final day. I mean, I think it's a little tone deaf.
Will Urban respond on the Fox show?
Probably. Probably not.
Well, they have to ask him about it, and if he's going to be the voice if he's going to be that guy, he should respond to it and not just, we don't want coach speak right now. We want Urban Meyer, the person. You've been called out. How do you feel? What do you think about that? Address these comments. I mean,
technically what Harbaugh said is not coach speak. Coach speak is politics. Coach speak is trestle. Coach speak is a sweater vest and a flag pin. Like, coach speak is saying that Akron is a great opponent. Like, he was flying off the handle saying something that was completely not in line with, I'm sure, what they want to focus on. And yeah, I'm sure it got clicks, and I'm sure it obviously has our attention, and we're talking about it right now. But most certainly, and so far, Urban has been asked to respond, and he hasn't. So I don't know if he's going to use the platform of that Fox show to press anything. I don't see him having the opportunity to do that. He had Mark May in front of him in 2014, right there with that famous look he was giving him, and never said a word. So I don't know. Maybe not.
But he was coaching in 14. He's not coaching now.
Exactly.
I was going to say, maybe now that he's not the coach, he might.
Yeah, Tony's point, I think, is right on point, in that I think there's an expectation as an employee of a college football media that covers the sport. And in his former life, just 1 year removed, he was one of the prominent figures, and he's been commented on. He needs to respond as an analyst of sorts, which is kind of difficult, but he's going to respond in coach speak. I would be shocked if he didn't. He'll deflect it. He'll basically say something to the effect that, my record stands on its own, and even what I've done off the field in developing players. And, he'll go to all of his buzz terms in regards to what they do about, building the brotherhood and building fine young men, and that his record speaks for itself. And he's had a few, he won't even say missteps, but he'll allude to some pitfalls and some adversity maybe along the way. And that will be the end of the comment. I don't think he'll even address Jim Harbaugh by name.
What if, when they ask him about this, they go to a tight shot, and he's got like all 7 of his gold pants, like outside of his suit, and he's got like 3 rings on, all of his Big Ten championship rings, and he's like, I have nothing to say. I don't want to talk about it. I have nothing to say to that.
A Thanos moment where he's just holding on. It's possible. I think that would be the classy route, Tony.
Yes, that would be very classy.